Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to my students, DEO, Designing Effective Organization. I have the latest updates from my supplier. Thank you so much for those who are already buy a book and also buying the manual. And now, if I'm not mistaken, it's already 4 students, okay, buying the manual. I'm not based on the quantity, as long as for those who are interested, I'm not forcing, so as long for those interested to buy for your beneficial, for your knowledge, okay, you may buy it, okay. I'm doing that one for the purpose to make you easy to study during this our CMCO time, right? So I hope that by reading the manual, maybe you can refer more, especially part that you realize not everything I can cover in our video lecture. Okay, so I hope that it can help you more. Okay, all right. Without further ado, I will start. I hope that you can see me. Okay, without further ado, I will start our chapter 6 because currently we are in week 5, okay, for the SFU department. Okay, we are in a week 5, and I will have to make some announcement to you all. Since we are being given some option whether we want to proceed with the final exam, or maybe we have 100% assessment. So I choose to have this subject, which is 100% assessment. Even though it's 100% assessment, will be in online base. Okay, inshallah soon I will start with the new. Okay, once I'm done, do all the slides, uh, what we call slides uploaded inside that new, and no more student register for this course. So I will start to publish, okay, our assignments. Okay, they have peer assignment, they have group assignment, and inshallah I will replace the final exam with midterm test. Okay, midterm test. So that's why I really urge, I'm not forcing, but urge you all, if you can get the copy of manual is much better, because for the what we call midterm online test, we will test you all the requirement of the subject from the content from the manual, inshallah. So it's okay, we just proceed with the lecture, and at the same time, any question to be asked, please shoot the question in our official group WhatsApp. And I hope for those who want to buy the manual, please do your own. Okay, I don't want to listen anymore regarding of the problem on manuals have been arise in the group. I I don't like the kinds of conflict and disharmonious situation like that. And I hope you can give me cooperation on that. Because we are in this kind situation. Okay, so everybody have to be respect each other, and have to we have to use any kind of the what we call strategy, okay, to make sure that the knowledge can be delivered well. At the same time, I try my best to deliver to you all um, all the assessment, the lecture, and we still can proceed the study as well. Alright, so without further ado, I will proceed with chapter 6, the impact of the environment. But if you realize, hope that my audio is okay right now. Okay, so I will move to, yes, here. Okay, it's still under chapter 6, but it's under corporate culture and value. Right, the rest that I skipped just now, that one is we already covered under chapter 3. Okay, all right. So corporate cultures and value. This is under topic 6 and chapter 6. Alright, so assalamualaikum and a very good morning greeting again. Okay, so we're talking about the topic on corporate culture and value. So what is culture? Okay, if you ask me what is culture, is combinations of different of the value, norms, guiding belief and understanding that are shared by the members of an organization. So of course we'll be talking about the culture. Every single country we should have a different of the culture of, like Malaysia, we are full of like multiracial people, so of course we have multicultural too. So in here, they are more on the organizational perspective context. So you can see that what is culture is taught to the new members as the correct way to think, feel, and behave. Okay, so this is being stated in under Duff textbook. Okay, so organizational culture exists at the two levels. Number one, we have observable symbols, and the second one, we have underlying values. Alright, so this is the levels of the corporate culture. As you can see, the picture and diagram here show like iceberg, right? Iceberg, and above that they have observable symbols, okay, ceremonies, stories, slogans, behaviors, dress, and also physical settings, whereby at below one, inside the water, we have underlying values, assumptions, belief, attitudes, and feelings. So this is how the levels of the corporate culture being enacted, been implemented in the organization. So why have emergence and the purpose of the culture? Why we have to have the culture of organization and organizational culture? Number one is to provide the sense of the organizational identity, to make sure that when people looking at this kind of the culture, work culture especially, people can actually detect and identify, oh, this is the kind of the company in, for example, IIC, or maybe this is the kind of the company from Petronas food culture. Okay, oh, so this is the kind of how the company, let's say, Sandabi corporate culture, or maybe this is the signs of the company like McDonald work culture, example. Okay, so they have two critical functions in organizations. Number one, we have to integrate the members so they know how to relate to one another. Okay, that is the reason why we have the emergence of the culture itself. And the second one, to help organization adapt to the external environment. Remember, I told you before, when we're talking about external environment, it consists of the PESTEL acronym. Example, we have P, political, E, economics, S, we have social, T, technology, E, ethics, and also L, legal system. Right? And then for the internal integration, collectively identify and know how to work together. And the second one, we have external adaptation, how the organization meets the goal and deals with the outsider. So this is how it comes into the purpose of the culture. Okay, and then we're moving to the next one. Okay, the observable aspect of the organizational culture. What to observe? Okay, number one, symbols. Okay, maybe certain company they have their own logos and symbols. Okay, like Nike, you realize they have something like Mark, okay, and Microsoft like Windows, okay, and that is a symbols, rites and ceremonies. Okay, maybe they do like 100 anniversary, 100 years anniversaries, the existence of the organization. Okay, and then they do like do some every year anniversary, okay, for their company. Okay, how the existence of the company they throw back. Okay, maybe it's like they do like jubilee, like sometimes 10 years, 50 years, 100 years. It depends on how long that the company is established. And also they have stories and myths, okay, how they believe in terms of how the company is started. Okay, and then we do have power relationship, okay, in terms of how does the existence and control among the top management, middle levels and also lower levels. And also we do have the control system, and we can actually deniable is related after all with the power relationship just now, because we're talking about the control system, okay, the authority being actually um, authority that been given to the respective leaders, okay, to manage the company. And also we have the organizational structure. We talking about in terms of the organizational position and charts in the company, and this is all consists 6 elements under organizational culture. All right, so we're moving on to the next one. Okay, this is the organization chart for the not storm Nordstrom company. Okay, Nordstrom structure reflects the emphasis that department store chains put on empowering and supporting lower level employees. So meaning to say here, okay, the director and executive team, even though they are top level management, okay, they actually supported. This is in the management side term we call as from the bottom line to the top. Bottom to the top, okay, because the directors supported the stores managers, buyers and merchandise managers, and then the stores manager, buyers, merchandise managers support the department managers, and department manager supports the sales and sales support staff, and the last one will support the customer. So it's not like pyramid. A pyramid, mostly at the bottom is the lower level employees, but this one they empowering the lower level to give some control and decision making to make decision. You get me? Yeah, so this the process is from the bottom to the top. Okay, and it's very good because you give some trust towards your lower level employees to make decision, especially in part of the operation line. Huh? Alright, so we're moving on to the organizational design and culture. Is divided into 4 quadrants here. We have adaptability culture, okay, mission culture, clan culture, and also bureaucratic culture. And they do have the needs of the environment and also strategic focus. So according to the text, it stated that managers want a corporate culture that reinforces the strategy and the structural design. The organization needs to be effective within the environment. So meaning to say all the color blue here and yellow color, green color and red color here is represent on the internal environment within the organization, and how they want to actually have some support, okay, with the external environment, the needs of the environment itself. huh? Okay, if you get my manual, I had explained everything in the long notes. Make sure for those who buy the manual, read about what is the significance behind this diagram. Alright, the culture strength and the organizational subcultures. Okay, what's mean cultural strength? Okay, it's about how you empowering on that, okay, of the culture. Okay, it's the degree of the agreement among the members of of an organization about the specific values. So let's say the culture strength is more on teamwork and maybe groupism. Okay, so this is the thing about everybody must agree on that, to do work in the teamwork and to do work in group work, and to make sure that every single of the members must be have some consensus towards it. Huh? And the second one, we're talking about subcultures reflect the common problems, goals, and experiences of the team or department. So we're talking about how to solve the problem. Of course, before the problem to be solved, we have to identify the problem first, right? And we identify the problems, we come out with the alternative. Okay, what is the strategy plan to have solution for the problems? And of course, every single the solution is come up with the goals and experience of the team member or the department to counter on the problem. Okay, because the problem, you don't have to put only just that is total problem. You have to come out with the other way around, like the problem has to come out with the solution. Okay, and I remember uh, in the surah al-inshirah, but it stated in the verse inna ma'al usri yusra. Okay, so every single of the difficulties, there must be um, a solution. Setiap kesukaran, kesulitan tu ada dia punya kita kata penyelesaian lah. Okay, there will be uh, yes, solution, right? And then different department may have their own norms. So talking about how does every single department implement in terms of their norm. Huh? Alright, and we're moving to the next one. Okay, organizational culture, learning, and performance. Okay, culture is important to learning and innovation during challenging times. And I believe during this CMCO times is really challenging to us, right? Especially uh, mostly what we practice is we have to meet face to face the lecturers. We do face to face process of delivering the knowledge. Okay, and I do believe that this learning process and innovation have to be uh, aligned. Okay, have to be together, okay, with the organizational rules. And the strong adaptive culture often incorporate the following values. Okay, the first one is stated here: the whole is more important than the parts. So when we're talking about the culture, we look overall to the forest, not the tree. This is we look overall. Okay, we not just look into a very specific on each of the, let's say, the problem, but we look overall how to solve the problem, let's say. And equality and trust are primary values, meaning to say they will be embarking on the concept on equality. So equality means here everybody must be have some win-win situation. Equality, you and me is equal, for example. And trust, we must have the trustworthy where we want to do and perform uh, the performance, right? Of course, we have to make sure that there is trust. Okay, okay, okay. And then uh, of course, the third one, the culture encourage risk taking, change, and improvement. Okay, and I keep on saying this thing also when we want to do some change management, right? Management of change. It recap me back to the verse Surah Al-Rad. Okay, uh, it said what? It stated that Allah or God will not change the fate of people until the people is change their own fate. Okay, so you have to change, okay, in order to make sure that there is the improvement. Huh? And in here, when the culture encourage Yeah, student is texting me. Okay, make sure that in terms of the risk taking, okay, you can minimize in terms of the high risk. Of course, everybody have to bear with the risk, right? Sometimes the way on how we manage the risk also will be calculated towards this. So what we have to do by doing the changes, at the same time you can minimize risk, and at the same time you can do some improvement. So that is what we call uh, change management and try to adapt with the new culture. Alright, so we're talking about ethical value and social responsibility. Okay, what is this? Okay, ethics. Ethics is just relying on the code of the moral principle, okay, values that govern the behavior of the person or group with respect to what is right and what is wrong. So we are talking about you, okay, how you can actually differentiate in terms of doing certain things, your behavior according to the rule of whether this is the right things to do, this is the wrong things to do. Because we, based on the behavior, the person with respect of according to the mostly the right things to do, wrong things to do is based on religion. So we can see based on that. And the managerial ethics, okay, ethical decision that go far beyond the behavior governed by law. So here we talking about. Okay, ethical decisions go far beyond behavior governed by law. This statement referring to certain of your decisions um, have to be enacted by certain of the law, okay, and managerial ethics guide the decision and the behavior of managers. Example, while we're talking about um, let's say certain issue, okay, uh, we have like whistleblowing employees, whistleblower, okay, or maybe we can take like person who have some of personal interest, okay? Or maybe the issue regards to certain employees um, being caught due to certain of like bribe, for example, the issue of bribe, receiving bribes, okay? So this kind of the thing somehow in some country it permissible to do, and other parts maybe the country is not allowed to do that, especially we're talking about bribes, okay. Some people say I just focusing on the certain country like China, Taiwan, okay, Japan. When you receiving, okay, certain gift, it consider gift giving ethics. But in somehow another country, gift giving ethics is considered as bribery, menerima rasuah. Okay, so this also, okay, is governed by the law. Maybe you can enact a certain no gift policy, example, or maybe you can come up with no accepting no bribe. Okay, so this is the thing that the as the manager you should have some code of ethics in the company to make sure that the managerial levels is governed by this law. If not, if let's say they've been caught red-handed for that, right? So basically what the things they can defend themselves is there is none of the code of ethics in this company to say that our behavior, our action is wrong. You see, this is how the employees might be manipulated back and backfire the company due to our policy. Maybe the enforcement of the policy of the company itself is very weak. That's the reason maybe the tendency to manipulate that. So group by group, okay, the company have to have in terms of the strong policy enforcement before you go for the punishment. Because one people do, you have to penalize them. You have to give some the lesson learned to others, so make sure that the other will not repeat the same of this maybe unethical manager. Okay, all right. We do also have the sources of individual ethical principle and action. As you can see from here, the red color is about history, the religion, philosophy, geography, environment, nationality, society, and the culture. And for the local environment, is referring to the organizations, geographic regions, community, and family or clan. And for the green color here is referring to society. Okay, we do have societal norms and value and laws and the codes and regulation. And the last one, we do have individual ethics and action. So it's according to society shape the local environment. So this is based on how the sources of individual ethics, principle, and action be then with the environment itself. Okay. So if you realize from the source below is stated, um, using inductive reasoning to develop individual, organizational, and also global perspective. And I believe this element been taken from certain of article journals to make sure, okay, that how does the sources of individual ethical principle can affect to the action. Then we're moving to the relationship between the rules of law and ethical standard. We do have legal requirements and also ethical standards. And you realize or not, the green, sorry, no, the blue, yellow color. Okay, I'm not the line color. This is the yellow color. Okay, and they have legal requirement. And for the ethical standard, we do have white color here. And each of them have a subset. Subset means they're interrelated after all. Legal requirement with the ethical standard. So how managers shape the culture and ethics? Okay, macam mana seorang pengurus tu menguruskan budaya dan juga etika dalam sebuah organisasi? Okay, so the first one is based on value based leadership. So people might say that walk to the top, okay, and when walk to the top, meaning to say the leader is have to be whatever that they show is actually example to their people, to their employees. So how we value the base leadership? Okay, actually under leadership they have many types. For your information, student, many types. We do have like autocrat. If I'm not mistaken, from my research before, um, under the classical leadership, we do have autocratic leadership, we do have participative leadership, and we do also delegative leadership. But when we go with the modern base leadership base, we do have transformational leadership. Okay, and they have actually more than that. I don't remember, but what I'm trying to tell you all that every single of this type leadership, they have a difference on how they want to manage and control their people. Okay, because we're talking about how you lead your people. And the second one, we're talking about performance structure and the system. And we do have this structure and disclosure mechanism, and then we also have the codes of ethics. Okay, sorry, the codes of ethics. Sorry. The codes of ethics, and the last one we have training program. So, what is the formal structure and system? The stated here, it being stated here is about structure. Okay, when we're talking about the structure, we are talking about those the formal structure in organizational chart. okay, you are belong to which department, you are reporting to whom, okay, who is actually your span of control, okay. We're talking about how you do some your dedication of work. So this is about the formal structure, because supposedly this thing is under what we call immediate superior reporting line. And then we also have disclosure mechanism. Okay, we're talking about how you want to disclose certain of the rules and regulation and your authority, and to make sure that the action that been taken by you is within the control system. Okay, and the third one, we do have code of ethics. This is the thing that I had mentioned before. uh, we cannot deny, okay, when we do, okay, embark or develop certain rules, and tendency to be your employees to breach the rules is quite high. Okay, where is the ruler, there will be a breaker. Can I say that apabila adanya undang-undang tu, pasti ada yang melanggarnya. Okay, so of course when we're talking about this code of ethics, uh, the reason, of course, number one, to make sure that the company have their own policy. Yeah, because we're talking about code of ethics is one part of the policy, the standard policy that have to be obeyed by all their employees. Yeah, and the second one, code of ethics also to picturing, okay, something the company have their own belief and culture, especially work culture, ethics. And the third one, to make sure that everybody is really aware that this code of ethics have to be guide. It have to be guide, and of course it's one of the guidance and the ruler to everyone. Okay, and of course it have to be, everybody have to be aware on it. And code of ethics mostly being published in internet and also company website, okay, to make sure that everybody known about this. And then the last one, we have training programs, and of course there is a lot of training program that encourage their employees to be very ethical, okay, to be very presentable, okay, and very cultural awareness, and not cultural bluntly, okay. Cultural bluntly meaning to say they totally lost, they totally do not know what is do and don'ts in the certain of the work culture, in somehow in, let's say you are only working in the local company only, you are only know about the culture in Malaysia example, but if you go to maybe overseas, or you have to be become a part of expatriate, you do not know what to actually behave, how the action should be taken, and how to know those people you are working for do and don'ts, and yeah, the thing that you should have the right manner to behave. So I believe that the training program is the most important of all. I didn't say that the three items here, elements, is not important, but the most important is about the training programs itself, because the training program actually gives some uh, picture. It gives some like visual to us that this is the thing that I should to be aware. And then the next one, we do have managers play key role in providing leadership and example of the ethical behavior. So walk to the top, meaning to say the rules and the ruler will come from the leader itself. So if you show the very good and very example leaders, okay, so of course your lower level employees will follow your role model, because you are a part of like we call as a part of uh, the, can I say, a part of the role model of the company, to show a good example on the culture and the ethics, whereby when we're talking about examples of the ethical behavior, show to them, demonstrate to them, and say it, okay, this is one of the ethical behavior. And if you realize unethical behavior all sudden exists, they appear, you should come across and maybe should do some brain opener towards that. Okay, maybe you can do like uh, what we call session on consultation session, or maybe you can do some complaints on that, and what should be the action being taken towards those people who are involved in unethical behavior. And it should be a part of some of what we call punishment penalties should be done, to give that, ensure that in future the people will not repeating the same things again, unethical behavior and so forth. Alright, and then we do have characteristic of the value-based leader. We have interpersonal behavior, we have personal action and expectation, we have fairness with others, and also we have organizational leadership. Okay, so under interpersonal behavior, mostly those leaders, they are treat the people with care. Okay, I can say in other way around, they like more on empathy leader. They put themselves into other people's shoes, okay, and be helpful and kind. They support others and maintain positive relationship. So in Arabic word, we call as like, um, we keep giving positive, think positive, is husnul zon, okay. And personal action and expectation, we do have like hold self to high ethical standards, strive for honesty, humility, integrity, and accept responsibility for ethical fallings. Okay, here we're talking about certain uh, trustworthy. You make yourself to be trust, and of course to become uh, transparent, okay, to your people. So people will have possibility trust on you when you are also trusting them. No? And then fairness with others, treat everyone equitably. Okay, meaning to say there is no high leader, this is no low level, this is no middle level, this is no like no, you not differentiate them towards that, and never be condescending, and accept others people mistake. So others, accept others mistake, meaning to say in here, you try to accept their mistake and rectify it, not accept the mistake and then provoke it. So you can't do that when we accept other people's mistake, because human is in the character not 100% perfectionist, right? I do believe some people, they want to become perfectionist, but in here accept others with mistake, meaning to say you have like open your heart, okay, in order to accept them and try to rectify the mistake. And the last one, organizational leadership, articulate and communicate the ethical vision. So when we're talking about communicate ethical vision, you are together have some brainstorming, okay? Do some what we call some eye opener and brain opener towards what is the mission. Can we achieving this mission within a short time, example, or maybe we can achieving this mission within a long time, because vision, we are talking about future goals, right? And hold people accountable. Hold people accountable meaning to say you remain and sustain those people who are really responsive, really responsible towards their job, meaning to say this people is have sense of the high responsibility, mempunyai tanggungjawab yang tinggi. They are very committed and giving full commitment towards their job, and put ethics above short-term interest. So in here, put ethics above meaning to say they're really concerned, okay, about the ethical manners and behavior, and short-term interest, uh, meaning to say compared to short-term interest, then do put ethical behavior uh, priority, okay, compared to the your own interest. Yeah? Alright, and then the corporate culture and ethics in the global environment. Okay, the global environment presents tough ethical challenges. Okay, um, course, because nowadays we're talking about intense competition and everybody um, try the best in order to suit with this kind of intense competition. Mereka cuba juga untuk menandingi kata persaingan ni, okay? And the countries have the varying attitudes and belief because we are talking about the differentiation on how they want to adapt and adopt with a different attitudes and also the belief, because we are working in the kinds of multicultural environment, multi what we call diversity workforce. So that's why when they have diversity workforce, they do also have different attitude and belief. So that's why we have to actually try to learn on how to suit them best. And the third one, components that characterize a global culture. So multicultural rather than national value. So when we're talking about the global culture, this is the main thing that we have to take into consideration, that multicultural have many of their values compared to ones like national values, right? And basing the status on merit rather than nationality. So they will base on merit compared to the nationality. Managers must think broadly about ethics. I do believe with the terms like local, you can go for global, but at the same time you sustain the local. Huh? And the social audits measure and report ethical, social, and environment impact of the company operation. So social audits is a team of auditor to measure up and see how the ethical manner being reported, and how and the social, and how does is the environment impact to the company operation. And okay, to conclude, okay, uh, in this chapter, cultural and ethical value helps determine the organizational social capital and contribute to success. I believe, and I believe you also believe this thing, when we are working in the kind of uh, differentiation of the culture and ethical, actually it helps us in order to know well what is the best in order to cope that different of society expectation from us. And the second one, managers can use rites and ceremonies, stories or symbols, structure, control system, and power relationship to influence the culture. Uh, yeah, of course, this is the thing in order to cope with this differentiation of the culture. And the subculture may emerge even in the strong culture. It depends on how it can be have some strong existence on that. And strong culture can be constructive or non-constructive. Okay. And managerial ethics and corporate responsibility are important aspects of the organizational values. So, walk to the top, I mentioned just now, right? And when we're talking about corporate responsibility, how does the company have this responsible towards the organizational values, meaning in terms of their uh, ethics, okay, core ethics, or maybe vision, mission, and also objective and the goal of the company. And managers can shape culture and ethics through the formal system, as I mentioned just now, through their position, to their organizational charts, okay. And then social audits are important too for companies trying to maintain high ethical standards. Because social audit will measure if, let's say, this company may be involved in the kind of unethical, okay, so they can have some like uh, measurement to measure that we have to remove this method, how we want to avoid this method, and how we want to improve this method. Okay, so this is important because we need someone to do some inspection and checking towards it. But, and then I'm done. Okay, so I hope that this time around the audio is clear. I will check, but for topic 5, as lion seat is audible. Okay, so I try to, maybe we'll do again. Okay, because the things like these facilities I cannot control. Somehow we can predict whether it in a good internet connection or not, because I'm using this free versions of, I'm not using the premium one, but free versions of Zoom platform. So I hope that um, yeah, this is the best thing that I have right now. So I hope you can cope with it. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for listening up to my video lecture. And I hope that I will have uh, quick action to make it to be in Neo LMS soon. Inshallah, I already had that platform, but still the process to edit and to put everything inside that. As I mentioned, I try to change from online exam to maybe online midterm based, and all the question will be derived from our manual and notes, okay, especially like video lecture and also slide notes, inshallah. So thank you for time, thank you for your time, and please take care yourself, and yeah, hashtag social distancing, hashtag sanitizing your hand, please make sure you wash your hand and singing the song with this song twice, okay, and make sure the best thing is please use your mask and do not put your mask under your chin, okay, and when you want to eat, okay, you have to open up it and put into the plastic. That is the best thing, okay. All right, thank you so much for today, and inshallah we'll meet you next week, okay. uh yeah, thank you and have a nice weekend, and tomorrow will be public holiday. If you got your class tomorrow, will be no class. Yeah, maybe you should ask your lecturer, but our class is since it's a Monday and Wednesday, right? So yeah, tomorrow will be no class. Thank you, thank you. Okay, bye. Assalamualaikum. Have a nice day.